It's funny seeing the amount of people that's about to make more money than Angel Reese. Angel Reese is punching air right now. Barbie is punching air between her new salary and nobody showing up to see her at Barbie Fest. Whoa, she's not happy at all. I gotta tell you, she's upset.
The new WNBA salary figures have officially been released, and not everyone seems pleased with the outcome. The increases are significant, the financial growth is historic, and nearly every player across the league is set to earn far more than they did before. However, not everyone benefited equally. When you examine where Angel Reese landed compared to others in her draft class, the lack of reaction from her side speaks volumes. Looking at the updated CBA salary structure, it raises an important question. Does Angel Reese's placement truly reflect her value to the WNBA, or is the math behind draft positioning more complicated than many fans realize? Share your opinion and let the conversation begin.
Goes from $94,000 to $574K. That's a pretty good little increase, but it gets better for her. I can tell you right now, with incentives because of making the all WNBA team, that 574 is really going to be like 1.1 million if the Fever choose to offer her the max or get her up to the max. Caitlin Clark, $85,528K. Now, the reason that Aaliyah is becoming eligible for that incentive is because she's been in the league 1 year longer than Caitlin Clark. Paige Beckers goes from $80K to $500,000. Cool $500,000. Cameron Brett, $85K to $493,000. Hell, she missed most of an entire season. Sonia Cintron, $80K to $436K. You know what we don't do? We don't talk about how good she is. Cintron, pretty good player. I got to be honest.
Let's focus on the numbers first, because they tell the clearest story without needing much interpretation. Under the new WNBA collective bargaining agreement, base salaries for recent draft classes have seen major increases. Aaliyah Boston's salary jumps from roughly $94,000 to around $574,000. Caitlin Clark moves from $85,528 to her updated pay scale. Paige Buchers rises from about $80,000 to nearly $500,000. Cameron Brink increases from approximately $85,000 to about $493,000. Sonia Cintron climbs from around $80,000 to $436,000. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's salary grows from $75,000 to roughly $350,000 under the new structure.
$3K to $350K. That's still a pretty good little pay bump, I'd say. Spot Track even put in here, base value escalators are not included in this.
Full comparison, and it's worth taking another look. Over the past year, Angel Reese has positioned herself as one of the central figures in women's basketball, building a strong public image through social media influence, brand partnerships, and media attention. Her growing visibility has often supported the argument that she is among the sport's biggest attractions. Yet despite that narrative, she appears at the bottom of this salary comparison within her draft class. She ranks below Sonia Cintron, below Cameron Brink, who missed much of the season, below Paige Buchers, who has yet to play professionally, and below both Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. In fact, she falls behind nearly every comparable player in that group.
Than Angel Reese. I don't know. Okay. We'll see here. We'll see. Angel Reese, $1 for every missed shot and rebound. Nice. Ooh. Got to tell you.
Before anyone turns this into a debate about fairness, the explanation is actually very straightforward and mechanical. WNBA salaries under the new CBA are structured according to draft position. Angel Reese was selected 7th overall, while Camila Cardoso was taken 3rd. That difference alone explains why Cardoso's base salary is roughly $110,000 higher than Reese's. Sonia Cintron was also drafted ahead of Reese, and the players listed above her on the salary sheet were simply selected earlier. This is not personal, it is purely contract math. Contract math does not consider social media popularity, does not account for how often a player trends online, the number of endorsement deals they secure, or how loudly supporters argue their importance to the sport. Draft position determines the structure, and the salary scale reflects that reality. This is where the discussion becomes more interesting. Over the past year, Reese has invested considerable effort into building a narrative around her influence in women's basketball. The argument from her supporters has remained consistent, that she is central to the league's growth, that she draws attention, and that she belongs among the most impactful players in the sport. However, the salary sheet quietly tells a different story. The league evaluated the full player pool, applied contractual criteria, and placed Angel Reese at a base salary of $350,000. To be clear, this is still a significant increase from $75,000 and represents meaningful earnings by any reasonable standard. But within the broader conversation surrounding her profile, especially during what has been described as a historic CBA moment, seeing players she has directly competed with receive significantly higher base salaries communicates something important. Consider Aaliyah Boston, whose situation highlights the ceiling created by escalators and incentives for players who have earned them through performance. Boston's base salary of $574,000 already marks a massive jump, but with incentives such as all WNBA selections and performance bonuses built into the new deal, her total compensation could realistically land between $900,000 and $1.1 million, depending on what Indiana offers. Boston is a three-time All-Star and one of the league's most complete frontcourt players. The incentive structure is designed to reward exactly that kind of proven, consistent elite production. Key question then becomes which performance escalators Reese currently qualifies for. The honest answer is that her on-court production in the WNBA has not yet reached the level required to trigger the top-tier incentives. Rebounding has been her primary strength, but efficiency has remained a concern. Her role with Chicago has shifted as the team continues searching for the most effective way to utilize her, rather than confidently building around her as a primary option. In a performance-based structure, bonuses go to players who consistently deliver at elite levels. Reaching maximum compensation requires performance that clearly justifies it. Caitlin Clark's situation stands apart because it is structurally different from everyone else on the list. Her base salary under the new scale is determined by her draft position and her place within the rookie contract timeline. She is not yet eligible for the Supermax, which becomes available in 2027 during the fourth and final year of her rookie deal. However, the incentive opportunities available to Clark, driven by MVP-caliber performances, historic statistics, and the commercial transformation of both her franchise and the league, create a compensation pathway that extends far beyond the base number alone. Aaliyah Boston is eligible for the max this year, while Clark's financial ceiling continues to rise as her performance and impact reshape expectations across the league. Diamond Miller appearing ahead of Caitlin Clark on certain salary lists is largely due to timing within their contract structures. Miller is 1 year further along in her deal, which makes her eligible for escalators and bonuses that Clark cannot yet access because of her years of service. This kind of technical detail often gets lost in public reactions, but it plays a crucial role in understanding how these salary figures are determined. For Angel Reese, the takeaway is straightforward. The league's compensation model, designed to reflect value and production, placed her at the lower end of her peer group. This was not the result of bias, favoritism, or any external narrative. Came down to two factors: she was drafted 7th, and her on-court production has not yet activated the performance escalators needed to move her beyond that baseline. The viral thank you card conversation circulating online captured this dynamic in a humorous but meaningful way. An AI-generated image showing WNBA players thanking Caitlin Clark for her energy, passion, and historic impact spread widely because it reflected a broader truth. Every player receiving raises under the new CBA is benefiting from a league that is significantly more commercially viable than it was just a few years ago. Media rights deals have grown dramatically, sponsorship revenue has increased by more than 30% year over year, franchise valuations have climbed, and league infrastructure has improved. All of these developments stem from increased audience engagement, and that surge in viewership has been tied closely to the player who made the WNBA must-watch television for new fans. Clark, now entering her third professional season, is approaching a contract phase that still does not fully reflect the financial value she generates. Because she is on a rookie deal, she is not eligible for a Supermax contract until 2027. As a result, the player creating the most commercial value in the league is currently earning less than what that impact might otherwise command. Meanwhile, players who have benefited from the expanded commercial environment are receiving raises that, in some cases, place their base salaries above Clark's current figure. This is simply how the WNBA's financial structure operates in 2026. It is not about fault or favoritism, it is the math of rookie contracts, particularly when a first overall pick's impact quickly outpaces the system designed to compensate them. Reese finds herself on the opposite end of that equation. Drafted 7th overall, her base salary reflects that position. The gap between the public narrative surrounding her influence and her placement on an objective salary list based on draft order and performance remains significant. Viral moments and online attention cannot close that gap without consistent on-court production that triggers higher-tier incentives. The reaction to Cameron Brink earning more than Reese, despite missing much of a season due to injury, highlights how misunderstood this structure can be. Brink was drafted higher, and the salary model is built around draft position. Her injury status does not alter the terms of her rookie contract, which were established the moment she was selected. The broader conversation about league finances also connects directly to this discussion. The multi-billion-dollar media rights agreement that enabled these salary increases was negotiated based on projected viewership and measurable audience growth. Networks commit to deals of that magnitude only when there is clear evidence of rising demand. That surge in viewership began in 2024 and created the financial foundation for the current salary increases. The annual revenue flowing into the league from broadcast and streaming partnerships now supports higher base salaries, larger raises, and the eventual Supermax contracts for elite players. Reese, like every player in the league, benefits from this improved financial landscape. Even at the lower end of her peer comparison, her new salary represents a substantial increase from what she previously earned. The irony is difficult to ignore. Reese positioned herself prominently within the narrative conversation as an equal or alternative to Clark, yet the salary comparison among players from the same era currently places her at the bottom. The market, draft position, and performance incentives all contributed to that outcome. Over time, performance escalators will provide a clearer picture of each player's standing. For now, the numbers show Angel Reese at a $350,000 base salary under a new CBA made possible by league growth she played only a limited role in creating. The salary figures are now public, and the structure is clear. Draft position determines the baseline and performance determines the ceiling. Neither factor accounts for social media popularity or viral attention.